Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Thursday, the 7th of July 2022. Now, if you're reading the headline, yes, we are trying to sign Matt Smith, but it's not the Matt Smith that used to play for us. It's a different Matt Smith. It is this young man here, who is an Arsenal player, and this is from the sun.co.uk. Arsenal star Matt Smith wanted by a host of championship sides including Millwall and Luton over summer transfer. Arsenal star Matt Smith is wanted by championship clubs including Millwall and Luton this summer. 21-year-old midfielder has come through the Gunners Academy, where he has been since the age of 7. He's been loaned out to League One sides over the last few seasons, including at Swindon and Charlton. And after a spell at relegated Doncaster last year, a number of sides are looking to snap him up on a permanent deal. Oh, it's a permanent deal, is it? Now, I don't know how he played, but if Doncaster got relegated, which part did he or did he not play in that? It is understood Millwall and Luton have tracked his progress and are targeting a bid ahead of the new campaign. He is yet to feature for Arsenal's first team, but was on the bench for the 2020 FA Cup final win over Chelsea. So he was on the bench for the FA Cup final, but he's how did that happen? But he's never actually played for Arsenal's first team. Why would he make the bench for the FA Cup final then? Weird. I wonder what the story is behind that. Smith made 43 appearances at Doncaster last season, but could not stop them from beating a drop into League Two. So he played more or less every game for Doncaster, and they still got relegated. Oh dear. He's currently on tour with a club in Germany, where Mikel Arteta is preparing his squad. So yeah. Who is this lad? Who is he? What did he do at Doncaster last season? As usual, we go to whoscored.com and see his rating for League One last season was 6.42. He never got a man of the match, and his average pass success percentage is 76.3. He's not very good in the air. He's got 0.2 aerials run on average. But let's have a look and see what he actually did game by game. So here is ratings. It's the game at the top is the latest game, and the ones down the bottom are from earlier in the season. As you can see, he's played all of these games for Doncaster. Let's have a look. Scroll back up through. He did not score a goal. He had 2 assists against Cambridge United away, and where they lost 3-1, and at Morecambe away where they lost 4-3. He has a number of shots per game. Almost has a shot every game. Well, at the end of the season, at the start he didn't. So maybe there's something that switched in his game. They told him to be more attacking, take more shots on. And his pass success percentage does kind of go all over the place. It's as high as 88, and then it's as low as 57. Yeah, kind of all over the shop. So let's have a quick scan through in terms of defensive stuff that he does. So tackles 5 against Shrewsbury, interceptions of us. He's good at tackling. Is this a replacement for George Saville? Is this the George Saville of the future? He kind of has similar numbers to George Saville, just randomly looking at it by eye. I'll have to compare it, but it's similar. Remember, this is in League One. So yeah. So the first column is tackles. What is that third column? Fouls. So he does give away a fair amount of fouls. Gave away 6 against Plymouth and they lost. Interesting stuff. Okay, clearances. Quite a few. 4 against Charlton. So he does a bit of defensive work. Mostly tackling. On offensively, we've seen he hasn't scored and he only had 2 assists. He has a fair amount of shots. Not really much going on, is there? He doesn't get offside. Dispossessed and unscheduled touches. Quite high for unscheduled touches against in that Plymouth game. He still got 6.82 rating, even though he gave the ball away 6 times. But against Wigan 4 times, he got 5.92. So passing wise, what is he up to? Yeah, he's not really much going on here, to be honest. Yeah, his numbers aren't prolific. He's not a superstar. Now you would think, well, Doncaster was struggling. They got relegated, but his numbers aren't really sticking out, to be honest with you. Where does he rate for Doncaster? Let's have a look. See if he's still there, because he was there last season. Yeah, they've got last season numbers there. So even for Doncaster, he's not their best player. He's their 14th. He was their 14th best player last season. So I don't know. Is this kind of like a? Are we really that interested in him, or is it just? Yeah, we'll take a look at him. I don't know. Doesn't really stand out to me. Maybe he's got something about him. There's something that can be trained in him. I don't know. But just looking at the numbers, doesn't seem to be a standout candidate for the first team. Maybe he's 21. Maybe they're gonna bring him into the under 23s, which would be kind of weird because he's already been on loan at a League One club. Maybe we bring him in and then loan him out at another League One club. I don't know, kind of weird. But or maybe it's just nonsense. Maybe it's just someone's trying to get him a decent deal, knowing that his numbers aren't all that. So let's have a look now. So yeah, this popped up today. So Mill submit training ground planning application. So this was 7 hours ago. So this was at the end of the working day that this come out. So I've been on Sevenoaks Council's website, looking at the planning portal, searching up the planning applications. I can't find this yet. So if they put it through today, you would think that it's going to take a while for it to come up. So, but when it does come up, I'll make a video and we'll have a look through what they specifically planning to do, because it's alright having, so you can see in this picture, it's alright having the graphics and the fancy stuff and showing everyone what you're going to do, but when push comes to shove and you've actually got to file the paperwork, then we see what you're actually going to be doing. And if you look in this picture, if you look at the top there, that's Brands Hatch there behind all those trees, and if you look on the left, you can see a bit of the track there. Interesting stuff. And on the right hand side, the M20, I believe it is. Is it the M20 or the M25? Not too sure. Millwall Football Club is pleased to inform supporters that it is now formally submitted an application for full planning permission for a new training ground to Sevenoaks District Council. The site in West Kingsdown will bring the first team and academy training operation together and provide new office space for club management, support staff, and an additional base for the Millwall Community Trust. This is the most important step in the process so far, CEO Steve Kavanagh told millfc.co.uk. So much work has gone into getting the club to this point. I'd like to thank everybody involved for their efforts in finalising the planning application. It is now with Sevenoaks Council to assess, and we will continue to provide all the necessary assistance and flexibility in ensuring that the plans are the best they can be, and not just for the club, its players and its staff, but for the entire local community. That has been our focus throughout, and will continue to be. As per this indicative timeline, the club hopes that a decision on its application can be reached by the end of autumn this year. However, this is not guaranteed. Those supporters will be kept informed of meaningful developments as and when they occur. You can find out more about Millwall's whole vision for the site, including more images, information on layout and benefits to the local community, plus much more, by clicking here, which takes you to a website called millwalltrainingground.co.uk. They've got their own special website to try and act as propaganda, would you say, to local residents, and it seems the local residents aren't that fussed. There's not really a NIMBYist campaign against it. I suppose because they've got Brands Hatch there, so it's like, well, that's already there, so what's the problem? They seem to be welcoming it. They think there's going to be a bit more business, like the cafes and the restaurants nearby. They seem to be supportive of it, so interesting stuff. So yeah, like I said, Millwall said they're going to keep supporters informed. I'll be keeping you guys informed. If you're watching these videos, you're subscribed to these videos. Like I said, I'm waiting for the planning application to be uploaded to Sevenoaks' website, and once it is, we'll have a boring and long, arduous flick through what they've done and what they're doing, and I'll bore the life out of you showing you. So that will be interesting, won't it? Moving on now to... Now, I told you in yesterday's video that QPR had... It wasn't a rumour, they had actually made a bid to Millwall for Danny McNamara. And the figure going around was £700,000. Now, apparently that... I don't know who put that out. Maybe it was QPR side trying to bluff themselves up. It was a lot lower than that. Because we have some stuff coming out now. So this is from footballleagueworld.co.uk, and they're reporting on a tweet by Richard Corley of the South London Press, London News Online, who is very well connected to Millwall. He's a Fulham fan as well. I don't know who Fulham's rivals in the west of London mainly are. They probably think it's Chelsea, but realistically, come on. Is it QPR? Is it Brentford? I'm not too sure. So I'm sure he's probably quite happy to humiliate QPR by revealing... Yeah, QPR have made a second bid for Danny McNamara. The second bid, which is around £300,000. What the fuck? Rejected immediately by Millwall. Yeah, I should think so too. A two-word answer. First word begins with an F, and the second word is off. I mean, are you serious? This is a second bid, so it wasn't £700,000. Like I said, there wasn't a source for that. I don't like, but I wanted to tell everyone that that happened, because I thought it was just like clickbait nonsense, a rumor, like stupid stuff. But they actually made a bid, and there were some people online on Twitter saying it was 700,000, some saying 750. No, it was less. What was the first bid then? What the fuck was the first bid? Have they been taking lessons from Millwall about how to bid for players? £300,000. Oh my god! Seriously, what? Are these people crazy? So yeah. Like I said, this is from a tweet by Richard Corley. The 23-year-old has enjoyed a real breakthrough season with the Lions, featuring 37 young. Yeah, we don't really need to go through that. Yeah, there's not really much around it. It's just that tweet. They've made a story out of the tweet. Football League World, but I mean, this is Richard Corley saying this. So he's obviously got this from Millwall. So this is 100% kosher, more or less. I don't doubt it, but like seriously, QPR, what are you doing? What are you doing? And there seems to be some confusion about when Danny McNamara's contract ends. apparently he did sign. It was reported that he signed a long-term deal. But Millwall use the word long-term when it's more than one season. So if it's a 2-year deal, they say long-term deal. They don't really like giving out details of the contract lengths. They've stopped doing that. So does Danny McNamara have a year left on his contract, or is it more? And is it more, but it's an option, so it needs to be triggered? And what triggers that? Is there a pay rise when that gets triggered? I don't know. Weird, very weird going on here. What is going on? QPR, £300, 300 grand. Come on, stop wasting everyone's fucking time. So we're going to move on now to this from Millwall boss Gary Rowett, talking about what he had to do to get Charlie Cresswell to sign on loan. And this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk from the aforementioned Richard Corley. Millwall boss Rowett on Zoom call with new signing Charlie Cresswell and the Leeds United's defender's dad. And his dad was a footballer himself. Millwall manager Gary Rowett has revealed that part of the discussions over Charlie Cresswell's loan move saw him on a Zoom call with the Leeds United defender's dad Richard. Cresswell Senior was a teammate of the Lions boss when they were at Leicester City. Millwall did a presentation outlining how they saw the England under-21 international slotting into their setup, as well as outlining what they expected from the player, with Rowett joined by Alex Aldridge, Director of Football Operations and Recruitment. So they put together a little presentation and delivered it, and that got the deal over the line. Cresswell sealed his season-long loan switch to the Lions on Monday. Leeds allowed us to do a Zoom with Richard and Charlie, Rowett told the South London Press. I think Richard acts on behalf of his son. I'm not sure if he's officially his agent. It was a really good chat. Part of it was me and him being horrified that we were talking about signing his son. It didn't seem like more than 5 minutes ago we were playing together. It shows how quick time flies. Knowing his dad and the character he had, you can see that in the lad as well. He's been brought up really well with the hunger and work rate. He's an impressive boy who wants to fight. I think that's why Millwall was something that they were very, very keen on, even though they had some very good other options. I think they potentially saw the progress Dan Ballard made, and also the fact they know myself and the likes of Paul Robinson. You know he's coming to people who are going to look after the player, try and work with him. I don't think it played a massive factor in Charlie signing, but it's always nice when you know people at the club. A lone player wants to know they'll get a fair chance, and what you're offering is actually what it says on the tin. Not just to try and get the player into our club. He's not going to be our player at the end of it, he's going to be a Leeds' player. You've got to do the best job we can along the way. Cresswell Senior was also part of Leeds' academy, set up for a spell while his son was coming through his junior ranks. There have been plenty of sons who have followed their dads into the sport, one example being Tom Ince, son of England international, former Manchester United and Inter Milan midfielder Paul. But does that make it harder to develop? It's very different for every player, said Rowett. If your dad is a Champions League winner and played for Manchester United for 10 years, then I'm sure there is more pressure than the likes of myself and Richard, who have had good careers, but you can go out in public without getting too much hassle. It's more about the person's character. Richard was an excellent teammate, a really good player, one who wanted to be the best he could and seemed to be pretty low maintenance. Just got on with it and sorted out his issues himself. Then you're signing a player that comes from that background. There's no guarantee. Everyone is an individual, but we're all shaped by our parents. Charlie is a very good player in his own right. He's already played for Leeds in the Premier League and already played for England under-21s. He's really highly regarded. Even in the first couple of days of training, he's put a few of the lads on their backsides. At 19 years old, that takes a bit of confidence and strength. He's got a really lovely range of passing as well, which again will help us to build in a different way at times. Interesting stuff there. Very interesting. So, moving on now to this. Millwall are asking you to complete the level playing field survey. Now, what is this? What is this? MillwallFC.co.uk. The 2022 level playing field annual survey for disabled supporters is out now. The results of the survey will give level playing field, a clearer understanding of disabled fans' experience, and help them to provide better support. The results will be shared with clubs and governing bodies. To take part in the survey, click here. So, what are they asking you to say? So, if you're a disabled sports fan, there are 9 questions. They ask you your age. What do you consider your disability to be? On average, how frequently do you attend live sporting events? Which of these, if any, are barriers for you when attending live sport? Yeah, and it carries on like that. So basically, if you're disabled in any of the ways in question 2, wheelchair, ambulance, so you can't walk much, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, if you can't see properly, if you've got learning disabilities, if you are neurodivergent, if you have neurological conditions, if you have mental health conditions, nerve or pain related sciatica, motor skills or speech related, or fatigue or low immunity, and other non-visible disability, breathing or heart condition or cancer. So if you've got any of those disabilities, fill this in and tell them when, how, why you go to sporting events and how that can be improved for people with your kind of disability, and clubs will see that and maybe they might take action. So there you go. Now we're going to finish today's video with a bit of a weird, funny thing that I found. Are you ready for this? I found this. What is this? This is an advert for apartment complexes, apartments, duplexes, I think they call them, in Lekki, Nigeria, just down the road from Lagos, by Lagos Lagoon, between Lagos Lagoon and the Bight of Benin in the Gulf of Guinea. They have a patch of land and they're building some flats there, which will cost you 55 million naira, which is around £100,000 for a 4-bedroom, with all of these immunities, a communications gate, 24/7 power, nice, 24/7 security, treated water, gym, 24/7 Wi-Fi, nice, and 24/7 sanitation. What does that mean? But yeah, they are building these flats now. They haven't been built yet. If there is a YouTube video going around of the land has been surrounded by big hoardings with glossy pictures on, and I don't know if you noticed it yet, but the name of these apartments are Peridot Millwall. What? Where did they get that name? Why are they calling them Millwall? The Peridot Millwall terraces are luxury duplexes flanked by the Coastal Road and Orchard Road in the Lafaji neighbourhood, Lekki, Etiosa LGA off Lekki Epi Expressway. So there you go. Now they're selling them. They haven't been built yet, so they're off plan. If you want to buy them off plan, but why are they called Millwall? Peridot is a gemstone. It's like a green gemstone, peridot. But you see, Millwall, it is the word Millwall. It's not mill and wall. Now the name Millwall comes from literally on the Isle of Dogs when it was marshland. They had it walled off, and they had a line of windmills on one side because it was marshland, and they were using the power of the windmills as pumps to pump the water out, to dry the land out, to make it not marshy anymore. So that is literally why Millwall. There was a wall with windmills on that were pumping stations to get the water out. If you there's a road on the Isle of Dogs called Marsh Wall. That's tells you something about it. So, like, why is it called Millwall? Weird. Is this being built by Danny Shitu? Is Danny Shitu involved in this? He's Nigerian. I mean, trying to make a bit of money. There's a lot of money to be made in the developing world. There's literally the clues in the name is developing. So most people's preconceived ideas of what Africa is if you actually looked into it, you'd be quite shocked. There are some massive modern cities popping up in Africa. Addis Ababa, Kigali, some pretty decent stuff being built in Africa, and you can see here now £100,000 for a 4-bedroom on the coast of the Gulf of Guinea, down the road from Lagos. So interesting stuff there. Peridot Millwall. Crazy. Like, how and why? Indeed, how and why. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.